Mr. Mayor, honorable council members, let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for all that you have given this community, blessing us with fine farmland, rangeland, and a place to build a community for our families. We ask that you send your spirit to attend your servants who enforce the rules, serve the sick, keep the store, teach the young, who labor at their craft and minister to your word. Solomon himself, called himself the servant king, and asked not for wealth, long life, or the demise of his enemies. He asked instead for an understanding mind to govern your people, a mind that could discern between good and evil. We ask you grant the same wisdom to those making decisions in this community. Help all citizens to work for a common good through useful invention, salutary regulation, helpful occupation, wholesome recreation, good manufacturing, and meaningful education. Preserve this community from recession and depression, epidemic and contagion, misrule and disharmony, drought and flood, fire and holocaust. Give them the grace to obey and trust your word through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. The flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, it's 6 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. If we could have roll call, please. Here, we have a quorum. On to item 4, if we could have a consideration and approval of the agenda. Councilmember Jones?
So moved.
Councilmember Lambert?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Move on to item 5, presentations. All right. Jesse Castillo, come on down. I see you. All right. This is certificate of recognition presented to Jesse Castillo, Interim Public Works Supervisor, Public Works Department, in recognition of your outstanding performance and dedicated service to the City of Los Banos for being named Employee of the Month, March 2024. Congratulations.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Members of council, if I can speak on behalf of the Public Works. I've been here a short time. I've been really impressed with Mr. Castillo's work and attitude. So I think the award is well recognized, and thank you, Jesse.
Thank you. The City of Los Banos proclamation recognizing Week of the Young Child. Whereas the City of Los Banos recognizes the importance of early childhood development in shaping the future of our community. Whereas the Week of the Young Child, celebrated annually, highlights the critical needs of young children and their families. Whereas investing in early childhood education and development lays the foundation for a prosperous and thriving society. Whereas the City of Los Banos is committed to supporting initiatives that promote the well-being and success of our youngest residents. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the mayor and city council members of the City of Los Banos do hereby proclaim the week of April 6th through the 12th, 2024, as the Week of the Young Child in our city. And I urge all residents, educators, businesses, and community organizations to join First 5 Merced County in celebrating the Week of the Young Child and support the efforts to ensure every child in Los Banos has access to high-quality early learning experiences. Thank you. We have somebody here? Perfect. You want to say a few words? It's up to you. You bring a paper, so I mean.
Yeah. So Virginia couldn't make it today. My name is Song Tao, and I am the health specialist for First 5 Merced County. And so I just wanted to elaborate a little bit more about the Week of the Young Child. And so it is an annual celebration established by the NAEYC. And the purpose of the Week of the Young Child is to focus public attention on the needs of young children and their families, and to recognize the early childhood programs and services that meet those needs. And so today, we know more than ever before that the importance of children's earliest years in shaping their learning and development, yet never before have the needs of young children and their families been more pressing. So we here at First Fire Merced County understand that the Week of the Young Child is not only a celebration, but a time to recognize that children's opportunities are our responsibilities, and to recommit ourselves to ensuring that each and every child experiences the type of early environment at home, at childcare, at school, and in the community that will promote their early learning. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to item 6, the public forum. Members of the public may address city council members on any item of public interest within the jurisdiction of the city council. This includes agenda and non-agenda items. No action will be taken on non-agenda items. Speakers are limited to a 5-minute presentation. Detailed guidelines are posted on the back of the city council chamber information table. This time, I'd like the public to come forward, and just a reminder to silence or turn off your phones.
Hi, my name is Vince Fernandez. I have a concern about the Ag Sports Complex. For 40 years, we've had a tradition of adult softball. My godfather's name bears those names on the fields, Manuel Aguilera, who helped develop those fields. For 7 years, we had no adult league here. For what purpose? We have no idea what happened between the rec department and this so-called place called Base Academy. We just brought back softball again last year for the first time in 7 years. However, within last year and within the first few weeks of our softball season, we've been getting stonewalled and retaliated by either the Base Academy or price hikes that are unnecessary coming from the rec department. The man who runs this league is not here because he's afraid of retaliation. We've already seen it within the last couple of weeks. Again, we've had a time-honored tradition of playing softball. Like this Cinco de Mayo, I get a chance to play softball with my granddaughter. And I'm sure parents here, grandparents would love that chance to have fun and play with their grandchildren. And this is something that's been going on for 40 years here in the city. But we feel that we are being stonewalled when this place, Base Academy, says that they own the fields, yet we've seen no financial deed, no nothing. The man who runs the league at his own expense comes in, he rakes the field, he chalks the field, and this place, these kids come in and they ruin it before we come to play. We had the fields for Thursday nights and Monday nights. Thursday night, one of my softball players, her daughter has a travel team. Since the field was under our rental, we told her, yes, you can go ahead. You guys can practice over there. People from Base Academy came over there and started complaining and say, those fields belong to us. We own them. Yet they don't. They haven't produced anything. The man that runs the league had a meeting, and it became to be nitpicking at this and that. And when the mention of Base Academy comes up, the rec department threw a defense. So my concern is that this time-honored tradition that we've had in Los Banos is about to be either lost in the shuffle or taken away from us again. Because like I said, for 40 plus years, I was there when the fields opened in 1980. I was there when they were dedicated to my godfather, my Nino, Manuel Aguilera. And we're afraid that the chance to have mothers, daughters, brothers, sisters, grandparents, grandchildren, and everything in between have this taken away from us again. So that is one of my concerns, and we'd like to know why this is going on. And we feel that the city council should be aware of this if they're not aware. Thank you.
Good evening, Marianas and Council. Kristan Santos here representing the office of Congressman John Duarte. Congressman Duarte would like to personally thank the Los Banos community and the West Side for coming out to his Los Banos Town Hall on Monday, March 25th. We had approximately 80 people in attendance, and the Congressman had the opportunity to discuss a wide range of topics with his constituents. And thank you again to Post Commanders Mike Hughes and Alan Cotter from Los Banos Veterans for the opportunity to use the Los Banos Veterans Memorial Hall. And thank you to Mayor Paul Yanis, Mayor Pro Tem Ken Lambert, Councilwoman Deborah Lewis, and City Manager Josh Pinero for attending, as well as other Merced County elected officials. On March 25th, the Congressman also had the opportunity to host a check presentation on top of the Los Banos Reservoir Dam for $5 million to the San Joaquin River Exchange contractors for the Los Banos Creek Recovery and Recharge Project. He would like to thank all of the stakeholders whose participation made that event possible, and he looks forward to supporting further projects in the region to enhance water reliability in the Central Valley. Our office is also proud to announce that Congressman Duarte's first bill passed on the House floor, the Confidence in Clean Water Permits Act, H.R. 7013, has successfully passed the House as part of Chairman David Rouser of North Carolina's H.R. 7023. Its passage puts us one step closer to clean water by guaranteeing that the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination Systems permits now provide clear and reliable listings of regulations, making them easily accessible and user-friendly for permit holders. Currently, the EPA's NPDES permit riders often include language in permits that provide loopholes for groups to sue and block permits needed for critical energy and other infrastructure improvements in the Central Valley. The Congressman's provision closes those loopholes and limits opportunities for unwarranted lawsuits, codifying previously long-standing practices at the Environmental Protection Agency to shield permit holders from liability as long as they've acted in good faith and according to all the terms of their permit. This type of regulatory certainty and legal protection for permit holders under the Clean Water Act is necessary for improving our valley's water infrastructure. Thank you for your time.
Mayor, good evening. Mr. Vaughn and council members. There's my chief. How are you? I wanted to get up here, and I've got a lot of questions coming forward, and simply state, and with your concurrence, that my original agreement with the city was that I was not going to get involved in any political drama, and that's exactly what you folks and prior councils upheld your agreement on. There's a lot of folks in Merced that are feeling that I had something to do with payouts, perhaps, or other things that occurred. And I'm the first one to say, look, our agreement was that we would go and get closed session items done. And you would take your personnel items next, or last, I should say, and I was allowed to leave the meeting, go back to my office, and continue working on projects. That's exactly what happened. So I'm very pleased that that you lived up to your agreement, that I was allowed to do some projects here, which was fun. 7 months went by in a total eye blink. I'm looking now at the chief again. I don't mean to pick on him, but he's the one that I recognized his name. Reyna, no Enye, right? Okay. I worked with his, not close, but I worked with his dad, believe it or not, in 1969. Mr. Hughes, you 72? I wasn't over here in 72, but maybe my spirit was here. 72, okay. Well, anyway, 50 some odd years ago. And you very graciously welcomed me back for 7 months. I had other stuff going on in the Bay Area, which I set aside to come out here and try to serve the city the best I could. The gentleman that I'm picking on, Chief Reyna, served as the acting fire chief during that time. He later, of course, as you know, was appointed police chief, and I had the honor of coming in and sitting in on that. During that 7-month period, I think we got a lot of stuff done. We appointed a new fire chief and a new acting city manager. There she is. And we did a lot of good things. I think maybe some of the most important things are that we got the Central California Irrigation District, the Grasslands Water District, Conservation Water District, and what's the other one I'm blocking on? CCID, Grasslands, well, and the federal water contractors with Chris White together. And you're going to see more from that, I hope. I've just come from the city of Gustine, where one of your fine department heads, ex-department heads, has been appointed as city manager. Lord rest his soul. It's a tough job. And after being in the business 55 plus years, it's kind of nice not to have to.
30 seconds.
Okay. Again, thank you for living up to your agreement. If you have any questions whatsoever, please call me. If you happen to hear that I was involved in any of this stuff that Mr. Vaughn protected me from, please set people straight so I don't have to explain myself anymore. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, and public. My name is Greg Hostetler. I'm here to discuss some of the thoughts I have about the direction that the city should be going and the things the city should be doing. The city should prioritize our water system and our water availability because the city has collected $3,127 of each home built over the past few decades. Our sewer system should be updated. There has been little work done on our sewer system. The city has collected a substantial amount of money that has not been used. It has been years since the sewer plant has been expanded. Engineering is not done, and that is not good planning. Also, we need to move forward with annexations for industrial, commercial, multifamily, and single family to provide jobs in our community. It's been almost 2 decades since you've annexed any land, which is poor planning. We need to plan for future roads, sewers, parks, and with a growth management plan similar to what Mayor Amabile implemented soon after he was elected in 1994. Those annexations bring Walmart, Home Depot, and all the amenities that came with what Mayor Amabile did after he was elected as a result. Created many jobs in our community and money for doing things such as building a police station, fire stations. We need to build another fire station. I have offered free land free of charge for a fire station, but that has gone nowhere. I also made offers to help move the airport as I own land that had runway length and overflight zone of over 3 miles. Another location had almost 2 miles that went nowhere. Those in the firehouse went nowhere. I also offered to build Pioneer Road from Mercy Springs going east to Ward Road, 2 lanes, no charge to the public or the city. All that needs to be done is annex the land to it next to generate the revenue to build it, as I said, free of charge to the city and the community. Our company also has it designed. With that, would come a growth management plan consistent with what Mayor Amabile implemented after his election, as I spoke earlier, which worked very well citywide. I also have well sites available for water for the city that is of good quality, good quantity. All we need to do is sit down with our community stakeholders and do things that will lead the city in the right direction of a cleaner, more efficient pattern, which will create jobs. It's great to see what's going on in Chowchilla with the new auto parts warehouse and Merced creating all kinds of jobs and revenue for the city. It's great what is going on in Stockton and Tracy, Patterson, warehouses, lots of jobs. We're only an hour and a half away from Silicon Valley. There is no reason this city should not be missing out on the opportunities that we have had over years by not talking to the stakeholders. Make things happen in a managed way, as I spoke of earlier. We must annex the land to create these jobs so we can build sports complexes, beautiful, well-maintained parks, and bring success in creating a healthy community environment. Unfortunately, the environment we have at the city has created a revolving door at the city engineer's position and the Public Works Division, and numerous other revolving door position is taking away our opportunities to be a quality city. So with that, I also want to make a suggestion that some of you sitting on the dais should change the ways and what you're doing. Some of you at the dais should seek legal counsel. Just a suggestion. This mess you are running in the city is not over. I'm all in. Some of you may want to put me out of business. There will be the day when they have to raise their right hand, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and that won't go well for some of you on the dais, potentially corrupt. Just a suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Try to get this under 5 minutes. Good evening, all. My name is John Michael Aaron. I live at 20926 Pioneer Road, adjacent to the property on the northeast side of Pioneer Road, Articulita Road intersection, which is slated to be part of the intersection signalization and traffic flow improvement project. After receiving the insultingly low monetary offer based on appraisals using comp sales from South Dos Palos, Hilmar, Volta, and Ingomar for the land purchase and easements of the city of Los Banos wanted to take from me on Thursday, February 29th, 2024. I scheduled a meeting with Jaylene DeMello, Charles Bergson, Brent Cahoon, a few others who did not attend, along with a few more that were there to represent the city. In that meeting, I voiced several concerns I had and questions I wanted to get answers to. I followed up with an email outlining my questions and concerns that fell on deaf ears for 11 days. I then sent an additional email on March 25th, reiterating those same questions, knowing that the city was facing time restraints with its funding. Upon still not receiving a response from any of the 7 persons I sent the email to, I decided to take time off work and physically come down to speak with somebody. I was told that Mr. Bergson was in a meeting, but they would make sure he would call me back. Later that day, he did. That was yesterday. He explained to me that it now appears that the city project will not be impacting my property at this time, but later in the future it will. I explained to Mr. Bergson, while that was welcome news, I will require some written confirmation from the city informing me. I will require some written confirmation from the city as information changes every time I speak to somebody, with who I speak with, and what the details of the project will ultimately look more. Furthermore, California Code of Civil Procedure, Sections 1263.025, Section A, states that I can hire my own licensed appraiser for up to $5,000, which I did immediately after the slap-in-the-face offer that I was presented on 2/29/24. Now, the city will have to pay for that, probably an additional $5,000 for their own appraisal and any other costs associated with this fiasco. That's $10,000 or more of hard-earned taxpayer dollars not going to fix potholes, address the homeless crisis, or any other projects. All because we tried to ram through a project that, according to the minutes of your last city council meeting on March 6th, item 7B, and I quote, Councilmember Lewis expressed her discomfort with how the Pioneer Whiting project is progressing, how funds are being rushed because they are about to expire, and how there have been no updates as what this project will look like. End quote. Some of the issues I have with the offer that was presented to me: comp sales from other cities with different zoning and properties miles from where I live with no irrigation rights. Again, location, location, location. Number two, your offer states that there will be no damage to the remaining property on my property after this road improvement. Well, on page 43 of the offer you presented, section sale number 2 and sale number 4 in the counter and the comp sales were listed as site influence inferior due to higher traffic counts. This, at the same time, you're going to relocate traffic from Highway 152 83 feet closer to my front door and my mother's front door, who lives on my property, and an additional walking path, and say there'll be no impact on my property. So you reduce their property value based on that and then tell me there's going to be no impact on my property for the exact same cause. Number 3, there's an ever-changing plan. I went to city council meetings at the community center with everyone on the Pioneer project. It was 1 lane in each direction with a turn center down the middle. Then it was 2 lanes. Then there's stoplights. No, it's going to be roundabouts. Now it's going to be stoplights again. There was artist renditions showing a paved sidewalk walking around town. It was beautiful. It looked like a business park. Everything was going to be great. But in speaking further, now it sounds like I spoke with Ryan, who presented me my offer. He said, no, it's going to be an asphalt strip, like the diagonal asphalt strip loaded with homeless people up and down Los Banos. There was going to be a sound wall. Now there is no sound wall. Number 4, your offer states that there is no chance of future rezoning on my property when your own city plan for 2030 and 2040 indicates that my property will be rezoned residential, not A1 as it is now, as well as it shows the bypass being north of town, not on Pioneer Road. Things I would suggest: A, finish the plan. B, notify all parties involved ahead of time of the details of it. Speak with the property manager, and most of all, make fair compensation offers. I recognize growth is going to happen. Things are going to change. I just want to be treated fairly. You guys should take a look at it. You don't have time. I don't have time to get into it here. Please ask me questions later. You've seen the offer, or maybe you haven't. My time's going to expire soon, so let me just say one more thing. To everyone on the Pioneer project, from the beginning, from Volta Road, Ortegalita Center, Mercy Springs, Ward Road, anyone on Pioneer, don't take my biased assessment of this debacle. Please stop by my house, 20926 Pioneer Road. Come take a look at the offer. Remember.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your letter, by the way, Mr. Giannis.
I'm Ruth, and I've been here once before. I think it was in regard to the homeless. And I live on Pitzer Way, and my backyard faces the encampment that is on the rail trail. And before I begin, I want to thank the council or the city for trimming the trees back there, and for maybe 2 months, maybe not even that, there were no homeless back there after a group of us came last fall to voice our concern. Well, I'm the only one here tonight, and I can see a difference between the people that you have let go and stay on the path. I've been watching, and of course, we had a very rainy season, and so the evenings were quite quiet. Now that daylight savings time is here, in the past few weeks, it's begun again. Now, I'm just going to give you 2 examples that concerns me, And if you can call me, I don't want to take up your time, and inform me what is going on, that would put me at ease, or maybe it'll get more upset. I don't know. And in the past few, I live in a two-story home, and my bedroom I have a huge TV vision of what is going on back there. But I would like to be able to sleep at night also. And it's just beginning where, and I did not call the fire department, and I did not call the police department. I just thought, I'm just going to let it happen. And the first night, all of a sudden, I heard noise, but I fell back to sleep. And all of a sudden, I sat up straight in bed, and it was the brightest light, like I had turned on 3 or 4 lights in my bedroom. And one of the homeless, and I looked, it wasn't out at my immediate view, but at an angle, I could see down the road that someone had started a fire. Someone had come with one of these big lights that I think they're LED lights that even some cars are using now, and they're very blinding at night and bright. And it lit up my bedroom. And I just thought, okay. And the fire was put out by them, whoever they are. And then the other night, I was awakened again. I just looked out my bedroom window, and there was this huge fire underneath the trees on the path, about 6 feet long, and I would say about this high. The flames were just, I don't know what they were burning or whatever. And that woke me up. And it just concerns me that I've just paid my property taxes, and I pay property taxes, and those people do not. Those unfortunate, I'm not going to, it's just happening all over the United States, and I'm not going to call anybody names or anything like that, but it is not right. That's all I have to say. And if I'm in District 2, I forgot who okay, if you give me a call and just explain what is going on with the homeless, because for a while,
Chief, can
they keep it very clean now.
Can you give your, just offline, not in front of the whole world, but can you give our police chief your phone number there? So we can have a record to call you?
Afterwards?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I didn't mean to.
No, you're fine.
Waste time.
I just want to make sure we collect that information, so, thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Vicky Vega with First 5 Merced County. And first, most, I wanted to thank you guys for the proclamation that you guys gave earlier today. And we just wanted to invite you guys to the event that we're going to have on April 13th. We hope that you guys go out there. It's going to be here in Pacheco Park. It's the 3rd year that we're going to be having it here in Los Banos. And we're just very happy that we're extending ourselves all the way to the west side of the county. And we just hope that you guys share the event with the community. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We're going to have face painting, balloon artists. We're going to be providing food boxes. We're going to have over 40 booths, and they're all going to have different activities. It's a celebration event, so hope to see you guys there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, you lied to the public at the last meeting. You have never reached out to me. Prior to attending these meetings, I emailed you with supporting documentation, but you ignored me. You did not reach out to me after the first meeting I attended, nor the second. Prior to attending a third meeting, I reached out to you again with supporting documentation, which did elicit a response. In your response, you did not address the issues. You avoided them, then proceeded to discredit me. In your response, you stated, I agree that scoring criteria and scores should be disclosed. The city attorney is attached to this email and did not correct you. You thought there was a scoring system, as did the city attorney, because the former finance director publicly stated there is a scoring system. I responded to your email, but because your bullying failed, you chose not to discuss further. My last email to you has gone unanswered. You also withheld essential information to manipulate the public's opinion. You are correct, CrossFit Valley View is a sole proprietorship. You are correct, that sole proprietorship is not in my name. However, you chose not to mention that it is in my wife's name, and you know this because I told you over 8 months ago. By default, only the sole owner of a sole proprietorship can act for the business, but that is commonly not the case because you can assign power of attorney to somebody to officially act on your behalf. Ask the city attorney. If the owner of CrossFit Valley View, my wife, has assigned me power of attorney, can the city discuss the business of CrossFit Valley View with me? The city of Los Banos is the only organization CrossFit Valley View engages with that does not recognize that power of attorney. City staff had no issue discussing the application for CrossFit Valley View with me until I sent them documentation proving they were lying to me. Nor was this standard applied to other businesses, and I have emails obtained through a public records request to prove that. Mr. Mayor, you also lied when referencing the document filed with the SEC. On that document, my time at CrossFit Valley View is listed as 2014 to present. You want to manipulate the public to believe I'm not credible, so you withheld why I have to file that document. You intentionally did not mention that on the same page, I'm identified as a chartered financial analyst. Most would say this is not just relevant, but essential information in determining someone's credibility relating to finance. So let's reframe the situation. A chartered financial analyst has come to you with serious concerns about the city's finances, provided you with supporting documentation for all of it, and you've chosen to ignore it for 9 months and instead attack the messenger rather than solving the problem. But I do appreciate you demonstrating you have both the time and the ability to do a thorough investigation of business structure and licensing. Now the public can see your integrity based on how you respond to the following information. I'll make this easy and only point out the city's own guidelines. I'll make it even easier by looking at the very first one, which reads, commercial business located and licensed in Los Banos since at least 2020. To keep it easy, let's look at the first check. This check was written February 24th, 2023. The business license associated with that application, which was obtained through a public records request, so it should be accurate, was not issued until March 10th, 2023. Based on your records, when the first check was written, there was no business license for that business, a violation of your own rules, the very first rule. And that's not the only one. There's multiple checks that went out to businesses without a commercial business license and businesses that only got a business license to apply for this grant program. But what they do have is connections within City Hall. There is substantial evidence showing quid pro quo and nothing to refute it. Until you provide justification for the amounts of these grants, Los Banos will be known as a pay-to-play city with corrupt leadership.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Council, my name is Raul Granillo. I'm the pastor at Mercy Springs Church of the Nazarene on District 1, Mr. Lambert. I want to actually just take this time to invite you and to inform the community of something that we're going to be doing there. We're going to have an immigration workshop with Civic on April 4th. That's tomorrow. It's the Integration Collaborative for Immigration Workshop in collaboration with other nonprofit organizations. It's going to be a free in-person immigration workshop in the city of Los Banos from 4 to 7 p.m. at Mercy Springs Church of the Nazarene. The services that are going to be available are citizenship evaluation, DACA renewal application assistance, consultations with immigration attorneys. If any are going to attend for citizenship services, they should try to bring a permanent resident card, their most recent income tax return, or if they receive Medi-Cal or low income, they might be eligible for a fee waiver. They should bring a copy of previous application, employment authorization card, social security card, DACA approved letter is optional, passports, and a couple of money orders for $85 and $520. Again, we do this to serve the community and to help those who are trying to receive immigration status, to receive a legal immigration status. Vamos a tener un taller de inmigración en Los Baños el 4 de abril. Mañana la red de integración de los inmigrantes en el Valle Central, en colaboración con otras organizaciones no lucrativas, ofrecen la mañana gratuito taller de inmigración a la ciudad de Los Baños. El taller se llevará a cabo de jueves, el 4 de abril, de 24 a las 4 a las 7 en el Mercy Springs Church of the Nazarene, en 1248 Santa Barbara Drive. So I want to invite everybody to come be a part of that and also encourage the community to kind of work together and get the word out. We recognize that we have over 25% of our community are expatriates from other nations, and a good chunk of those are undocumented immigrants who've come to this country with no other purpose than to try to find work and find a better life. And our immigration laws are complex. Anybody who says they aren't has never looked at them. They're ridiculously complex, they're case by case, and it is scary, especially in a country where you don't know the culture, you don't know the language, you don't know what's going on. And so I would ask you as a leadership to create a culture in our community that helps to encourage those who would come into our country to seek the legal ways of doing so and to create the means for that as well, rather than just to tell people to check in at the door. I also want to say that the last council meeting I came in here and kind of rebuked everybody in the council for the way we were speaking, we were going on. And I want to say that it's the majority of the people that come up here to complain. So we do. We're good at complaining, and we like to criticize. We notice criticism. Nobody notices the house is clean, only when it's dirty. And so on that, I want to say that after that entire meeting was easily, it's one of the best council meetings I've ever seen here. Mr. Mayor, you mentioned that, this was great. I was proud to be a part of Los Banos. I was proud of our leadership. I was proud to see all of you come together, even with your different ideas, with your ability to butt heads so well, and yet come together on a project like the Colorado Park and just give Mr. Heim open rein to make this happen. And I'm so excited for that, for the things that he's doing. And I want to encourage you to continue to do that, to continue to recognize that your position, it's easy to sit there and look at numbers and look at things and look at projects. But you need to remember, like the gentleman that came up, that these are homeowners. These are real people. Even our homeless, whether we want to admit it or not, are community members who have the same rights as others in this community. And so we need to find a way to represent those individuals. And I would encourage you to always keep that person in mind. To rather than looking at just the big picture, to look at the individuals and how it is that you take them on this journey that you're trying to take them to. Convey the vision that you have for this community. Pray for your people. Get to know them. Talk to them. And encourage each other. And I just want to take this time to encourage you and to thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, city council members, city staff, fellow residents, good evening. I want to talk a little bit about Measure H and Measure G. Measure H and G, as you know, were both specifically and personally sponsored by Mr. Mayor, Mr. Jones, and the rest of the majority of the staff, or excuse me, council, with exception with Councilmember Lewis. These measures, Measure H, failed. More people voted against it by a 77% margin than voted for it. Measure G failed. More people voted against it than voted for it by a 61% margin. What does this mean? Well, basically it's a referendum against you, Mr. Mayor, and the majority of this council. People saw what's happening. They took a good long look at the direction of the city and its priorities and its missed opportunities, and they overwhelmingly rejected what you were offering. They do not want another 2 years of this, and they so voted. Another reason why they voted this way is because they're tired of retaliation. Retaliation by individuals, like we just saw this evening, by a business owner who's just trying to come here and get information that he rightly deserves. Retaliation against whole members of staffs, whether uniformed or non-uniformed, calls that individuals should return money that they rightly were awarded. Deliberate misinformation and attempts to besmirch or degenerate individuals instead of answering or speaking to what they're asking for. It should not be about personal attacks, but that's exactly what this council does over and over again, and it's on the record. Another issue is that we have an issue with crime. Crime is on the rise, not only just everyday crime, but violent, aggressive, homicide crime. Why is this happening? Because our city's priorities are misdirected. We have a firehouse that needs to be built. Our staff, fire department is understaffed. We have grown exponentially, but we have not kept pace with fire services. And this strain is going to cause problems. It's going to cause problems because at the time it takes to respond to incidents, it's going to increase. When members of the unions bring up the issues, they're retaliated against. And again, and I do not blame the city manager. It is your responsibility because you have the oversight. But you gave up that oversight. You abdicated it by requiring a 5 or unanimous vote to provide any kind of oversight on the city manager. So you, even if you wanted to, you couldn't do any kind of correction action on the city manager. And again, he's doing what he's allowed to do, and you're responsible for it. Again, crime is on the rise. And what are we doing? We're talking about another ballpark, which is great. I played Little League. I played in some abandoned properties because that's the only place we can go. I understand the need. I understand how it affects performance, et cetera. But your number one responsibility is public safety. Public safety. And you're failing at that. We're told that this is going to cost millions and millions and millions of dollars that we do not have. Both departments had said, we're going to raid our fund completely, and we're still going to be short millions and millions of dollars. We'll raid another fund completely, and we'll still be short millions and millions of dollars. And yet we have people suffering crime, and we're not addressing it. Mr. Yanez, you came in on a platform of addressing the homeless issue. You threw your hands up and said, oh, I guess this is harder than I thought. Now you're offering a plan B. Well, if plan B is more plan A, that means more of nothing. Please take care of the issues that you're supposed to, and that is crime, public safety. I hope, again, that you take this opportunity to redirect your motivations and the direction of the city, because the public is not happy and they are paying attention. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, City Council and Mayor. I know that you'll be speaking about this, but I just want to touch upon it, that I'm so grateful that the whole team is contributing to something very wonderful this coming Saturday from 9 to 12. I'm going to be really encouraged, and it's going to be great to see all of you there at the community center, because we're providing that free microchipping, right? And what's so nice about it was that everybody teamed up to get this done. All different kinds of groups got it done. And this is the first. And the result, not only with teaming together to get all of this done, but additionally, with that free microchipping, and as it continues, when a pet, a beloved pet in our community gets lost, they'll be able to be returned. So I thank you for your continued effort, because the rule is I'm supposed to address you guys, but your continued effort in progressing step by step, little by little bit for the end goal. So I'm part of the the Friends of the Los Banos animals. But additionally, I'm a community member that has wanted this for quite some time. So thank you for making it happen, the whole team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, and staff. I am delighted to address you today regarding our upcoming events in our vibrant community. We have some exciting happenings on the horizon that I'm eager to share with you. Firstly, our merchant meeting is scheduled for Thursday, April 11th at 5:30 p.m. This meeting will be held at the Los Banos Arts Council Craft Studio, located at 510 I Street, alongside Kimmy's Stitches. It promises to be an informative and collaborative gathering, bringing together local merchants to discuss strategies for enhancing our community's economic I can't even pronounce it correctly, vitality. Following the merchant meeting, we have the eagerly anticipated wine and beer stroll taking place on Saturday, April 27th from 5 to 10. This event will be a highlight on our calendar, offering attendees the chance to sample a delightful array of beverages from our local establishments. With tickets set to go on sale this Friday, priced at $40 for 10 drinks, attendees will have the opportunity to explore offerings from 14 participating merchants, which are we got Kimmy Stitches, we got Blue Agave Bar and Grill, Heritage, Fun Zone, Lucky Strike, Nasty Tattoos, Bernie's Mixology. We got Tony's Rendezvous, En Rincon, Biggins Texas Barbecue, Puposa Loca. We have Las Brasas, Mission de Oro in Santanella, and also Porli Luxury Salon. So it's sure to be an evening filled with celebration. So looking further ahead, mark your calendars for our casino night on June 22nd at the Crest Event Center. And that is located on 516 I Street. Tickets will be $65, table for 8, $500. Obviously, we have platinum, gold, and silver. We'll be having games, blackjack, roulette, craps, and poker, live and silent auction, 50-50 gun raffle, music, dancing, dinner, and a no-host bar. So it's a fantastic opportunity for our community to come together and support local initiatives while enjoying a memorable night out. In closing, I want to extend my gratitude to the council for their continued support of our community events. Together, we can ensure that Los Banos remains a vibrant and thriving place to live and visit. Thank you for your time and attention. Warm regards, Maribel Garcia, Executive Director, Los Banos Downtown Association. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the public forum? No? All right, seeing none, I'll close the public forum. Move on to item 7, consideration of the approval of the consent agenda.
Items on the consent agenda are as follows. Warrant numbers 244248 through 244443 in the amount of $1,750,956.53. Minutes for the February 21st, 2024 City Council meeting. Minutes for the March 6, 2024 City Council meeting. City Council Resolution number 6751, authorizing award of construction contract to Strategic Mechanical, Inc. in the amount of $266,000.18 with a 10% contingency in the amount of $26,600 for the construction of the North Gate Sewer Lift Station Emergency Power Improvements Project. City Council Resolution number 6752, authorizing award of construction contract to Rolf Construction, Inc. in the amount of $617,715 with a 10% contingency in the amount of $61,715 for the construction of the Meadowlands Wet Well Replacement and Bypass Project. City Council Resolution Number 6753, awarding the bid for the purchase of 2 new 2023 Chevrolet Traverses and authorization to issue a purchase order to Greenwood Chevrolet in the amount of $81,228.74. City Council Resolution Number 6754, awarding the bid for the purchase of a new 2024 Chevrolet Suburban and authorization to issue a purchase order to Greenwood Chevrolet in the amount of $67,478.39. And the items are to be approved as submitted.
All right, thank you. Do I have any members of council wishing to discuss any of the consent agenda items? Councilmember Lewis.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I'd like to pull item D as in David and E as in Edward for discussion.
Okay. All right, anyone else? No? All right, so let's go with item D as in David. And for this, we'll go to Public Works Director, City Engineer Burks.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'm prepared to answer questions regarding item D and E, the emergency power for the Northgate Sewer Lift Station and the wet well replacement for Meadowlands Sewer Station.
Okay, so on item D, are we replacing a generator or is this going to be a new generator for this lift station?
It's going to be a new generator for this lift station.
Okay. And how much is the generator, how much does the generator cost?
They're approximately $100,000.
Okay, so we're paying roughly $166,000 for the installation of the generator? Because the request is for $266,000 and some pennies, and then 10% of that goes to Public Works for administering the contract. That's, so I just, was wondering, are we paying the contractor $166,000 to install the generator?
Councilmember Lewis, it's for the generator, but there's also associated work with the lift station. We have to do demolition, electrical controls, and wiring to adopt the generator to the existing power grid there. We have to remove concrete, put in some minor concrete adjustments to put the equipment in. So there's associated work for the demo, installation, and associated related work.
Okay. So I'll move on to the next item, which is item E. And basically, I have the same questions there. Are we replacing a generator or is this going to be a new generator?
This is going to be a new generator at the station, again, approximately $100,000. The balance of the work is the wet well replacement, and it includes the furnishing and installation of a new wet well, coating, and putting in a bypass vault and pump to accommodate the installation.
Okay, so is this project, item 7E, is this a more extensive project than the other one?
I'm sorry, ma'am?
Is it a more extensive project in regards to work? that
Yes,
needs to
ma'am.
be done?
The wet well is a lot deeper, and it requires a lot of extra construction and tear outs, and it also has more associated equipment. That's the difference in the price. It
Okay.
also includes a generator, but there's more extensive work involved with it.
So the generator is basically the same size as the prior project?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd also, since you're going to take a vote on the consent agenda as one packet, I want to let the audience know that I will abstain from item F and item G.
A through E? Okay. All right, so looking at items 7A through 7E, do we have a motion? Councilmember Jones.
Motion to vote to approve the consent agenda minus item F and
F
G.
Yeah. All right, do I have a second? Councilmember Goner?
Second.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. All right, motion passes. And then we'll do items F and G separately. So do I have a motion for items 7F and G? Oh, Councilmember Jones.
Mayor, I'll motion to approve consent agenda item F and G.
Thank you. Councilmember Lambert?
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. All right, thank you. Pushing buttons here. All right, moving on to item 8, which is the public hearing. If you challenge the proposed action as described here in court, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised at the public hearing described herein, or in written correspondence delivered to the city at or prior to the public hearing. So this is the time that's been previously set and noticed for the public hearing regarding the proposed annexation of territory to the Community Facilities District number 2002-01, Public Safety Services and related matters. Will Community and Economic Director, I can't even talk today. Economic Development Director Elms please present the staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. So we're going to be discussing Community Facilities District number 12. Just a bit of background. Community facilities districts are governed within the Mello-Roos Act, which authorizes local governments to create a community facilities district for the financing of public services and facilities. Los Banos, we utilize community facility districts for the purposes of financing public safety services. On February 21st, 2024, the City Council adopted Resolution number 6734 as an intent to annex territory to the Community Facilities District number 12 to provide funding for public safety services and to schedule this public hearing tonight. This is the boundary of the proposed land to be annexed into Community Facilities District number 12. We have an existing community facilities district, and so this would just be an addition to the existing district. And this is the 12th time that we've updated the map. This is a portion of the Villages 5 at Stone Creek, so it's approximately 30 acres. And you can see that that's outlined in the dark black area. And the area surrounding it shows the Villages 5 subdivision. That entire subdivision has 271 units that is proposed for the entire subdivision, but this is just a portion. That entire subdivision is already in the Community Facilities District. This 30 acres was omitted from the Community Facilities District when it was originally annexed in, and it looks like it was accidentally omitted way back when that property was annexed into the city. And so staff, to ensure that the final map gets recorded after the Community Facilities District is created, is going through this process tonight to make sure that the 30 acres is incorporated within. Sorry, I kind of muddled that up, but hopefully that was clear. So the fiscal impact, Community Facilities District number 12 consists of approximately 143 residential units. So just of that 30 acres, there's about 143 units. Its current rate is $424.06. That's this fiscal year per unit. This would generate approximately $60,640 for public safety services annually. This is within the property taxes of each unit. The maximum annual special tax rate will be escalated no more than 4% annually as determined by the Consumer Price Index. Each parcel will remain in the Community Facilities District in perpetuity or until the services financed by the CFD are no longer necessary. And the parcels within the CFD are only assessed when they're developed. So if it's vacant land, it's not assessed with the Community Facilities District. No public hearing. Any person residing within the boundaries of annexation number 12 so that within those 30 acres, may appear and be heard on any matter relating to the establishment and extent of Community Facilities District Number 12. That area has no inhabitants. No one lives there. No registered voters also reside at that area. Recommendation, staff is asking that the City Council adopt resolution number 6755, calling a special election for the qualified electors of annexation number 12. This would be a landowner election. Each landowner has 1 vote per acre, and that would mean 30 votes. And in this instance, we do have a ballot representing the landowner. And then after that, staff is asking to adopt resolution number 6756, declaring the results of the special election. And that concludes my report.
All right. I'll now formally open the public hearing regarding the proposed annexation of territory to Community Facilities District Number 2002-01, Public Safety Services, and the levy of a special tax therein. Will anyone who wish to speak in favor or in opposition to these matters please come forward? No? All right. Any discussion or questions from members of council? Absolutely. Oh, I'm going to do Councilmember Lambert first, then you, Councilmember Lewis.
Okay. So you're saying back on that map, the surrounding areas are already under this act, okay? We're just, since this was just left out a while back, okay. All right,
Yes.
that's all I had to
And if you recall, let me make sure it's in your packet. Within the boundary of the map, which was, I apologize, on the previous resolution of intention, the boundary of the map shows all of the areas that are within the district. So all of that land surrounding the 30 acres is all within the district, and we just need to make sure that this is incorporated as well.
Councilmember Lewis.
Thank you. So looking at this map, is this land being developed currently where infrastructure's being put underground?
Yes, so it's being graded right now. A final map has not been recorded. So the property needs to be annexed into the CFD before a final map can be recorded. It's a condition of approval.
Okay, because I drove by there a couple of days ago and came out of Dock Avenue onto Stone Creek, and it looks like there are pipes out there to be laid for infrastructure, so it's being developed.
Yes, it's being graded, yes. So there are approved improvement plans, but a final map has not been recorded
Okay,
to
All right.
subdivide the land yet.
thank you. Thank you.
All right. Has the city clerk received written protest to any of the matters addressed in the public hearing from any registered voters or landowners more than 50% of the acreage located with annexation number 12 to Community Facilities District Number 2002-01?
I have received 0 comments or written protests.
All right. Thank you. If there are no further comments from the public or members of the council, we'll now close the public hearing. And I'll now entertain a motion to approve resolution number 6755, calling an election regarding the annexation of certain land to Communities Facilities District Number 2002-01 of the city of Los Banos. Councilmember Jones.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve City Council Resolution Number 6755 as submitted.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Councilmember Begonia?
Second.
All right. All those in favor? Aye. All right. And we'll take a short 5-minute recess for the city clerk to hold said election.
yes votes and 0 no votes.
All right, thank you for that. Now I entertain a motion to approve resolution number 6756, declaring the results of the election. Councilmember Jones.
Yes, Mayor, I'll approve City Council Resolution Number 6756 as submitted.
Thank you. Councilmember Lambert.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 9, consideration of City Council Resolution Number 6757, authorization and amending spending plan for the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funding. And for this, we'll go to Finance Director Portillo.
Thank you. Good evening. Good evening. Oh, let me squeeze in here. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. I will be taking on this item, the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, proposed spending plan for the remaining unprogrammed funds, and a spending plan report for spending up to date. So a little bit of background. The American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, was authorized the state and local fiscal recovery funds to deliver $350 billion to state, local, and tribal governments to support the response and recovery from the COVID-19 public health emergency. The city of Los Banos applied for these funds under the category of replacing lost public sector revenue. Under this category, the city of Los Banos had received a standard allowance and for government services with more flexibility and a streamlined way of reporting requirements for the funds. The city received a total of $9.8 million for ARPA funding, which council allocated to some of the initiatives, which were hazard pay for employees, small business assistance programs, and infrastructure projects among the city. It's very small from here, but the table that you see in presented to you is it's the spending plan, and also it is reflecting the dollar amount that it remains unprogrammed. So just for ease, I labeled the first box in there, number 1. It is the total expenditures that the city has incurred up to date, up to 2023, and that is about $4.3 million. The city, out of the $9.8 million, this funding also received interest allocation for about $224,000 throughout the city holding this money, and the city has allocated about $6.5 million in projects ranging between infrastructure and hazard pay and small business administration help. If we direct to box number 2, the city, out of this $6.5 million that has been allocated to different projects, the city still has $2.2 million remaining since we have spent the other $4.3 million. And now we are looking at a $3.5 million of unprogrammed, unspent money that we are recommending a plan for in tonight's agenda. So that will bring me to the remaining ARPA funds that are unprogrammed for the city are $3.5 million. And we are recommending that these funds are allocated to existing programs and projects along the city, which are animal services, pickleball courts, facility HVAC replacements, tree trimming, Colorado Ballpark infrastructure project, and that will leave us with a fully programmed funding for ARPA. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Questions from council? Councilmember Lewis.
Thank you. Thank you for the report. Well, when I looked at this, just on the first page, we've spent $500,000 on tree trimming, and it looks like there's going to be additional funds allocated to do that, bringing us up to $800,000 for tree trimming. Is that correct? That there's going to be an additional 300,000?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and then an additional 800,000 to the animal shelter, which is well needed. See, I saw, let's see, where did I see here for Colorado? Well, let me go back to the use funds. Okay, under professional services, for the 3 years, we have 250, 103,000, and 383,000. Could you tell me what that was paid out for under professional services?
Yes, our financial consultant who was here at that time will be able to help us too.
So the professional services are the line items for the general ledger and the budgetary items. The breakout by project or ARPA project are down below. So the professional services category predominantly is the tree trimming. I don't think that there was anything other than that. There's a $225 charge. I would have to go pull the general ledger on that one. But you can kind of see it where it says tree trimming. They kind of match up right there on the report.
Okay. Under specialized equipment for 2001, 2002 fiscal year, and then we have a smaller amount in 2022, 23. Do you have an idea what that was for?
The special departmental expenses?
Specialized equipment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's right under.
Yeah, that was, so we did some HVAC replacement, and there was some technology equipment purchase for the police department.
Okay, so I see that under equipment funding below that, the next box below that, HVAC, we had spent $250,000. And
we haven't spent 250. The council programmed 250. We've spent, there's still $118,000 that's still available within the already programmed funds to spend on HVAC.
Okay, so on the last page, I see that there's more money programmed for HVAC, which
Correct.
is roughly about 300,000. So I'm assuming that we've already replaced some HVAC systems within our city.
Yes,
Okay.
and we've with new facility managers been going and bringing more of these items to our attention.
Okay, the SBA description for 22-23 fiscal year, 410,000 and some change, and 23-24, 74, and 74 and a half roughly. Is that the money that was given to the applicants?
There's a schedule that shows what was given to the applicants. It's on the SBA list. Are you talking applicants for the SBA list?
Well, there's a budget.
This was originally programmed as RAD card.
Yes.
And then, yeah.
Yeah. So on the budget line, 206-10, 410, 100, 283, SBA.
Right.
And it totals roughly 484,000.
Yes, and there's a closeout list schedule that is on the next page that shows the applicants and what they received.
So that's what I asked.
Yeah,
That was the
yes,
applicant.
yes, sorry.
Okay.
I was not clear.
Okay, so the next box below that, the funding equity ARPA fund. Above is the description, below is the funding source.
Yeah, so the lower part was there was an original throughout the first part of the ARPA program. There's been programming that has been done by City Council for those funds. It shows how those funds were spent and in which year, giving you a balance of those funds that are still available, because some of these projects are ongoing, such as pickleball, HVAC, animal shelter, et cetera. There's still an amount there for park improvements on Colorado, some small amounts on the tree trimming. So that was the original amounts. So those are still in process, and the meaning of this meeting was to ensure that we meet the deadline of identifying the remaining of the funds that weren't identified prior, and bring that to your attention in order to program them. As far as the expenditures are concerned and going forward, we're going to continue to monitor these expenditures by category, by program, to ensure that, you know, they comply, and that we don't overspend, and that there's any other requirements with that, which aren't many in terms of how we applied for this. But the goal here is to make sure that we have programmed everything that we can, and then as these items get expended, finance will ensure that if there's no more amounts to be expended on those programs, there will be additional information that would transfer those to existing programmed items, or if a new item comes up, then that would be the case. But most of the older program funds, that if that program is no longer going to exist, then if any small amount of those programs will get transferred over to existing programs before the December 31st, 2024 deadline.
Okay, so in the case of the RAD card SBA program, there was a $1,025,000 program to that, but we've only spent $484,500.
We spent the RAD card 514, and then they gave us some money back, and that was put back into that area. So of the entire RAD card SBA program, which was $1,025,000, we have spent all but about $26,125. And there's still some stuff that's going on with the SBA. Some stuff that's being brought forward, and we're looking at every single one of these with a critical eye. If something was submitted that needed an explanation or whatever, but we are close to completely closing out that program. At that point, then we would transfer that, if there's any money left, we would transfer that to an existing program that's been already identified here.
So under the federal guidelines, is the city of Los Banos required to do some sort of annual report to the federal government?
Yes, we do it. We do it every year. The report is required by April 30th of every year. We have submitted 2 reports each. It's called the March report on the Treasury site. We are in the process of uploading all of the information. This one has more subrecipients involved in it. So, but we will be complying by the deadline as we did the other two.
Okay. Was there anything in the compliance of that report to the federal government that staff was supposed to disclose that publicly to this council?
I'm not following.
So when you made the report, the federal report, the March report.
It's through an online system, yes.
So was there anything in the federal oversight laws that required that information to be reported out to council?
No, we submit that per the Treasury, as the Treasury is required. We had a single audit performed by an external audit with no findings, and we will submit the report for this annual, but nothing's come back from the Treasury. If that's what you're asking, that's
No,
not really
I was
how
just
it works.
wondering, the reports go out, but, we've not heard anything here at council about what was reported out to the federal government or any kind of annual breakdown other than, this report here. So,
Well, the report's like 280 pages long. It identifies, all the people that received ARPA funding. So it's something that it's just an annual reporting because of the way that the city received their funds through the revenue loss calculation. We're just reporting what we spent it on. That's it. That's all that is required by the Treasury.
okay. Well, I guess for my part, since there's an annual report that goes to them, and I'm sure that the company that does our auditing on an annual basis, I recall going back and reading or looking at the tape and you making a statement that there was some commingling of ARPA money, I believe, with our general fund, and that needed to be
No,
corrected.
it's because these are general fund monies. There are no restrictions for that. That was the auditors who did that. The auditors
that's
are
what I
the
said,
ones
the
who
auditors.
actually identified that and made the determination. And as they've done with all of their city clients, that through this category, it's part of the discretionary general fund. It's not a special revenue.
Okay. Well, I think my biggest concern about this is that money seemed to be going in a specific area, and we have so much that needs to be taken care of in our cities. Our infrastructure is falling apart. Our streets are falling apart everywhere. We had some street repairs here last year. But I've driven around the city and there are other streets that are just as, they're in just as bad condition as the ones that we made repairs on. We put a lot of money into parks and recreation and, we've given money to businesses to try to help them. And we've spent money, some funds on our police department. I just feel like we could have done, better in distributing this money out to make our community more livable in regards to our infrastructure. And that's just my opinion. The money's been spent, and I certainly, know that people have come and questioned how it's been spent, where's the reporting, and we finally got something here. It's minimal. I would like to dig into it a little bit deeper, but I'm going to ask for information from you in regards to that. But I'm glad that we're putting money towards the animal shelter. That's truly needed. We've had organizations outside of the city of Los Banos, private organizations who have worked hard to get money to help spay and neuter animals. That clinic, I think, is going to be happening this weekend. But and we painted a lot of buildings, but tree trimming, I think is something that over time we could have accomplished more and maybe pushed it out instead of trying to do everything in 1 year, because when those trees come ready to be trimmed again, they're all going to be ready to be trimmed again in 1 year. And that's something I don't know that this city can afford to do. And once this ARPA money is gone, what are we going to do then? So again, it's my opinion as one council member, I just think that we could have done a bit better on our priorities, which is public safety in our community. Yes, trees need to be trimmed, but to almost, spend $800,000 to do that, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your time.
All right. Any other questions, comments from council? Councilmember Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually think staff's done a good job with allocating these funds. And I've said this numerous times before, extending out the tree trimming, as little as that is, it's a big issue with our winds that we have. We can have dead branches falling, hitting kids, hitting cars, causing an accident. We talk about public safety, but that's also part of it too, is protecting them from some of our neglect that we've had over the years. It's kind of shameful with previous city managers. We had one that came in that talked about a lot of stuff getting done, and I don't see any of the stuff that he actually did. And then ones from years prior. If it was so simple to do this on the tree trimming, and it's something that we can do later on, then why wasn't it ever done in the beginning? We never had any money allocated to trees, but we keep planting new ones. And I keep going back and forth on this just because it is such a simple project to take care of our trees and our parks. Another thing with our parks, we've never allocated money for them. Never. And so now we got to rip them out and redo them. Why didn't previous staff, previous city managers with years and years of experience, 55 years of experience, why didn't he address any of our parks? I don't know if he even got out of the office at all. But yet now we finally have staff that's on board, that wants to put our children first, our parks first, our recreation first, get people out from underneath their TVs and outside. I think this is great what we're doing. I love seeing the money go into the animal services. I think that was another highly neglected area. So I think the money that's being allocated here is going to the right areas. I wish there was more, but these are all the areas that were neglected the most. Roads, yes. Roads are always a trouble issue, but we have additional funds for roads like Measure V and other sources that can help offset it. We developed a roads maintenance program, a software program that determines which roads are the highest priority based on size, cost, all that, so we can best use the funding that we have available. So we are putting steps in place to help our roads overall, but we have a lot of roads. We've had minimal maintenance over the years, and we got a lot of catch up just with so many other infrastructure, vital infrastructure items. We've had a developer talk about things in here, which is really funny because it seems like I've heard it from the city manager several months prior to it coming out here from this developer. It's almost like it gets leaked from a staff member to this developer. It's weird. It's just kind of maybe coincidental. But these are things that this staff is currently working on right now. And so I'm thrilled to see your guys' layout on it. Good job, and keep up the good work.
Councilmember Lewis, did you have your microphone on again? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
I'll go to Councilmember Lambert.
I received through an email from an organization that sends out emails to county governments, city governments, and one of the articles in here was $2.1 million no bid purchase of police drones approved by Elk Grove City Council, Mayor and City Council. And these drones are specifically used for for first responder system. We have people complaining a lot about crime in our community and things going on and lack of police response. We hear it all the time, and it's not that they're not trying. We just don't have enough officers. And the same, with Elk Grove. I think they have probably about as many officers that we have here in Los Banos. But these drones are like non-human beings that are sent out where problems are happening in the community to see what it is as a first responder, to get out there quickly in order to be able to dispatch police officers out to quell the situation. So, you know, I'm just saying, I'm not against parks and recreation. I'm not against that. But we have other priorities in life right now in our city, in our state, and in our nation. And, you know, the trickle down effect is hitting us in our face. So I guess for me, I just see that we could have used some money to enhance our police department to help them out, or enhance, you know, we had to buy a used fire truck because we didn't have enough money to buy a new one. So, you know, I just wanted to let you know, our public know that other cities are facing the same things that we are. Shortage of staff, shortage of police officers, shortage of equipment and fire and other departments to do their job. And this particular situation I thought was just absolutely a wonderful idea to be able to have those drones specifically to go out and look at a complaint in a neighborhood that comes in from a 911 call. They're not used to spy on anybody. It's just, it's a first responder. And so I think in the long run, we're going to have to be really creative here to try to keep our city safer, you know, as we move forward, because every city, not only just in Los Banos, in the state of California, officers are moving and going here and fro and, you know, joining other organizations, and also not wanting to be police officers. We're having difficulty in our nation, in our state, and in our cities trying to recruit people who want to be police officers. So any additional help that we can give them to keep our communities safe, to me, is really important. So I just wanted to read a portion of that article to say what the city of Elk Grove had done to help their police department be able to respond to situations a lot quicker when they can't get their officers out. Because, you know, I don't know how many officers we have on duty, but I'm sure there are way more calls coming in, be it in the day or at night or whenever, versus the officers that we have on the street. Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll go to Councilmember Lambert. I just, real quick, I don't know if Councilmember Lewis knows, but we actually have a drone program.
Well, those
Okay, I'm
drones,
sorry.
those drones are for a different reason. These drones are specifically for first responders, nothing else. Yeah.
Okay. Councilmember Lambert.
I just wanted to also thank both our finance directors also over there. Great job. And I just want to clarify too, a couple years ago, we actually, I believe we voted on most of these things from the ARPA money to the specific areas. So we're just adding whatever was already spent to the process added. I do want to clarify, and you know what? I want to thank Chief Reyna, because as of today, I believe we have more officers on our street now than what we did 3 or 4 years ago. So, and they are doing a great job at what they do. You know, crime's everywhere, but you know, it's how fast our police department, our first responders react on it. You know, where we also need to, which great job right on doing everything to do. But you know, we as a state and as the United States, we need to start holding families. These are young kids. You know, how are we going to start holding families accountable for some of this? But that's beyond down on the next road. I just wanted to clarify with the ARPA money and the monies that are being spent over here, Mr. Kuhn. You know, the animal service, we're adding another 800,000, correct? Yes. To the animal shelter. The pickleball, we're adding money to the pickleball courts. The tree trimming, you know, I'm like Mr. Jones over there. You know, we can get it all done. It's just how you maintain it after you get it all done. You know, it's not a one thing that's going to come across all at once and hit us. It's how you maintain, and that's the process we actually gave to our parks and our public works to come up with that plan once they're already cut to maintain them. So that comes along as it goes. But for now, these high winds that we had before probably saved a lot of issues, power outages for families, could have been damaged vehicles or whatever. So I'm glad we got that done. But the remaining ARPA, you know, I myself, let's just clarify one, because I've seen a couple of comments. The ARPA for the RAD card and the SBA, that one was actually done in 2021, I believe. And it was for only $1 million, not $3 million, not $5 million. So other than that, I'm happy with where the monies are going. You know, I wish we could put more for the other situation, our first responders, the ladder truck. You know, yeah, everybody wants a brand new one, but we got a great deal on this one and the cost of it for the amount of, you know, it may sit inside the facility, but it's in great work condition for the next 5-10 years that it's going to pay off for us in the long run. So that's all I have to say, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any other members? No? I just have one oh, go ahead.
Back on Councilmember Lambert there, and speaking about the fire truck, you had a used one that's available now, or you can wait, how many years for a new one? What was it, like 3? 4 years. It's just like some of the vehicles. We had anyways, sorry, that's off subject, but anyways, yeah. That's another reason for a used one is because it's now versus 4 years from now. Maybe it should have been planned 4 years ago, but for some reason, city manager at that time and staff didn't feel it was necessary. So that's all.
All right. I just have one clarifying question with the ARPA funds. Some of these funds were used in the contracts with our public safety, correct? In other words, in the payouts, the
Yes.
annual payouts that were received?
Yeah.
Okay.
All employees participated in the hardship pay.
Okay, yeah, that was my clarifying question. The other thing too, and again, I wasn't here back then. Not that that's an excuse. I'm educated on what decisions were made prior to mine, but I will say that again, my job is just to listen to the community, what they want, and people overwhelmingly came to me with the animal shelter, with pickleball courts, and so again, your priorities match with what I hear from the community, and so I'm pleased with that. We can always, and I'm saying this as a somebody who's been in law enforcement forever, is we can always support and add more to the police department. But in the end, too, I mean, with Chief Reyna and his staff, we can't go knocking on doors and ask people if they're going to shoot people. Okay, we can't predict crimes. We actually have to respond to and investigate them. That's how that works. So we have to trust our officers and our staff to do their due diligence and solve the problem. So I'm pleased with the priorities for this. And do we have a motion? Councilmember Jones.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt City Council Resolution Number 6757 as submitted.
Thank you. Councilmember Lambert. All right. All those in favor? Aye. All right. Motion passes. Oh, 4 ayes and 1 no. Did you get that? Okay. All right. Move on to item 10, advisement of public notices. We have one report.
Bear with me 1 second. Let me get these screens up. So we have one item. It's for a cottage food operation at 1888 Lane Court. This is for Shalada Wilson to operate her cottage food from her home. This will be held on Wednesday, April 10th at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers, and that's our only item.
All right. Thank you. Move on to item 11, city manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate it. Stacy Souza, can you please, she has a little video we'd like to show everybody. Can you play that, please? Thank you. Folks, as we saw, 2023 was nothing short of an exciting year. I have to say a big thank you to all of the staff and everybody that has worked hard in 2023. All those things that we saw in there were things that we accomplished in 1 year alone. The things I'd like to mention is we painted City Hall, we painted the Police Annex building, we painted the Miller and Lux building, we painted the Community Center that just got finished being painted. Those are some things that we got painted here in the city that all got done in 1 year's period. A theme that we all heard tonight, folks, is we inherited a lack of infrastructure, things that were not being taken care of. There's a lot of neglect, a deferred maintenance, and we were able to take care of a lot of those things today. However, folks, there's many things that were deferred for 20 plus years. Unfortunately, you can't fix everything in one time, in one shot. It takes time, it takes money. But we tried our very best in 2023 to get a lot of this stuff taken care of. And guess what? We're not done yet. As I mentioned last council meeting, we trimmed all the trees on 8th Street, I, J, K, L, M, 4th Street, 5th Street, 6th Street, 7th Street, Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, California, Nevada, Illinois, Arizona. Never been done before, folks. Never been done. And so we talk about the spending program that we have here. I'm actually quite pleased with this program because we have $300,000 allocated to the trimming of these trees. Never trimmed the trees before. So, of course, it's going to take a lot of money and a lot of resources to get it done. Now, following after that, we will be on a program to where we can do it in a rotation and in a cycle. But when nothing's ever been done before, it creates a problem. And when we talk about and we come up here and we talk about public safety, let's mention how with public safety of cutting of the trees, when a tree goes down in high winds and it's rainy, so on and so forth, trees fall down. Sometimes it hits a vehicle, it hits a house. Now you have public works out there. You have individuals out there that have to sit there and wait sometimes for the PG&E folks to come. It takes hours sometimes for them to come because when it's rainy and stormy and windy, it's happening in multiple jurisdictions, multiple cities. Chief Paul Tawala, we have your fire folks that have to sit out there and wait for the safety and protection of the residents of the neighborhood. So now we've tied up public resources. Then also, Chief Ray Rana, correct me if I'm wrong, we have police officers out there who have to sit there and watch the station, watch the location, and those officers can be out there, be deployed. Those fire departments can be deployed to help take care of such things. So actually, we're really quite excited about being able to spend money because it's actually a good use of our money. So these things are very exciting for us to get done, to be able to help out public safety. When we talk about a drone program, folks, I was here when I initiated and I approved, and Chief Ray Reyna and his team came to me and said, Josh, we'd love to get a drone program. I said, absolutely. We now have how many drone operators, Chief Ray Reyna? 2? 3? Three drone operators. We did not have that before, but in 2021 or 22, Chief, that we started the drone program. 2021, I was here. I said, yes, let's start the drone program. That was progress, folks, and we're really excited about that because those drones have actually helped us considerably to solve crimes and get individuals that have created, some bad activity. And we've actually used them as of recently. So we're really excited about the work that got done. And when it talks about road neglect and maintenance, we actually paved Cardozo, we paved Badger Flat, Overland, B Street, San Luis, and Birch Road. And some of those folks, those were just not repavement programs. Those are total reconstruction. Those are big projects. This is just, once again, a lot of deferred maintenance and things that haven't been done. So guess what, folks? It takes time. It takes effort. As I said before, we're not always going to get it right, but we're going to keep working hard to get it done. We have our Employee of the Month, Jesse Castillo. Jesse, happy to see you here today. I'm assuming that's your family. Happy to see you folks. Congratulations. Jesse Castillo has been working for us for almost about 19, 20 plus years, and he's been working out at the wastewater treatment plant, folks, for about 20 plus years. And I went out there to the wastewater treatment plant, and Jesse said to me, he looks at me and he goes like, Josh, what are you doing out here? I said, I want to know what's going on. And he looks at me like, the city manager's out here. Yeah, it's my job. I want to know what's taking place. As I went out there, and Jesse and I have become good friends, and he's drove me around quite a bit and showed me the area out there. Folks, when we talk about infrastructure, I absolutely agree with you. We have to fix this stuff. But it's been deferred for many, many years. He's been out there for 19 plus years working at the wastewater treatment plant. They never one time did any kind of dredging at the wastewater treatment plant. All of our sewage, all of our water goes out there. They haven't done it in 20 plus years. What have we been doing? So guess what we did this year? We allocated, thank you to council, thank you to you folks, $3.5 million out there. We pulled out 3,367 plus dry tonnage of things out of our sewage, out of our wastewater treatment plant. Talk about a hand clap out there for all the hard work that they did to get that done. My goodness, folks, never been done before. We fixed some irrigation lines out there. Really good stuff that took place. Joe Hyman and his team working on the parks. Talk about good use of our money. Folks, if you want to have a bad day and you're having a good day and you just want to ruin your day, go to Colorado Ballpark. That's going to ruin your day. Go drive in that parking lot and go see how awful that parking lot looks. Once again, I grew up going to that place. It was in bad shape many years ago. And guess what? We're putting money towards that now to get it fixed. We're going to come up with an idea. We're not going to raid a fund. We're not going to raid this or raid that. We're going to be responsible. We're going to do what we can to try to take care of things in a responsible manner. But that is neglect that should have been taken care of 20, 30 years ago. Joe Heim, how many poles, light poles, have fallen down at Colorado Ballpark since you've been here? How many? 3 in the last 2 years, folks. They're so deteriorated. They're so deferred and neglected maintenance that the light poles have fallen down. And the last light pole that fell down, what did it fall on, Joe Heim? Did we hear that? Fell on the bleachers. Fell on the bleachers. I get a phone call. We just had a light pole fall, and it fell on the bleachers. Wow. Talk about deferred maintenance and a worrisome safety issue for no matter who it is out there. Like, that's a problem. So we're working to address this stuff, folks. It takes time, but this is deferred stuff that's been happening for 20 plus years. Our road condition, yes, our road condition is out of 50. 50 out of 100 because nothing's been addressed. There's a city right over the hill. I'm not going to name the city. They have $600 million worth of infrastructure dollars that they're freaking out about because they have a lot of deferred maintenance. And they're trying to figure out how to solve that problem. $600 million. What has happened in the last 2 years in this state of California that hasn't happened in probably the last 5 or 10 years? What did we get a lot of in the last 2 years? Rain. We got a lot of rain. So since we got a lot of rain, what has happened? Our roads get messed up. It's causing a big problem. So it now has expedited the unfortunate situation of our roads. And so, folks, yes, those are things that we're going to have to address. But once again, a lot of this stuff has just been deferred maintenance. Hasn't been addressed. There was no plan. This is what I inherited. This is what we're working on. The animal shelter. You want another bad day? Go to the animal shelter. Go take a peek. But we finally put it to action. Thank you to you, council. Thank you to you, mayor, and to the community. We're going to get that addressed. At the animal shelter, just this last year alone, we added 2 new staff members at the animal shelter. They were not open on the weekends. We're now open on the weekends. We now have a vet that's out there helping us out with getting things taken care of. What's the other one? They didn't even have Wi-Fi, folks. There was no Wi-Fi at the animal shelter. No Wi-Fi. It's 2024. We're sending people to the moon and Mars. We don't have Wi-Fi at the animal shelter. So we're really excited that now that folks can be out there and you see them, they're being really aggressive on advertising of the animals, looking at the little dogs, and you go over there, you're just like, you want to take them all home. Sometimes we just can't take them all home, but we'd like to. So the things and the improvements that we made there at the animal shelter has been significant. It's really, really exciting, and I want to thank you folks that you've been able to help us work with this on taking care of this. But when it comes to the facility side of things, there was not even a facilities division in the entire city. This last budget, I went to council say, folks, we need a facilities division. We didn't have a facilities division. You believe that? An entire city did not have a division to go take care and address our things. When we talk about HVAC and talk about taking care of things, we have a community center that's there at the community center. It was built in 2008, 2009, plus or minus, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at Joe and Stacy. They're the historians. They keep me in check on this stuff. On top of that community center, there's about 12 or 13 HVAC units on top of that community center. They were all installed, Chief Tuala, on the exact same day. You know what goes through my mind? When are they all going to go bad? There was no plan for that, folks. It's like, let's just see what happens. No, it's not how it works. So it takes time. We have a phased-in process to get these things taken care of. As a matter of fact, replacing HVAC, Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we did an HVAC at your folks' place, right? Wasn't even working. We also fixed the roof out at that place too, right? Look at that. Jesse's been thinking it's Christmas out there. He's like, my goodness, I haven't had this kind of love in a long time. We're going to get it, Jesse. We're going to continue to make progress. And once again, we're not always going to get it right, but we're going to keep trying and working hard every single day. You know, when we opened up our new police station this year, Chief Ray Reyna, we both know how the old police station looked. It was long overdue, so we're excited now that we got a new police station to help these folks take care of crime and solve things. What a lot of people also don't know that I like to share, about in 2021, staff came to me and they gave me a staff report asking me to cut out 1,500 square feet out of the police station. They put it on my desk. They said, sign this. I looked at them. I said, I'm not signing this. I gave it back to them. I said, I'm not going to cut out 1,500 square feet out of this police station because we need that extra 1,500 square feet. And I said, go back, go to the team. Let's find the money. Let's find the resources to get it done. And we found it and we got it done. And I want to say thank you to you council members that were here at that time for approving that police station because it's serving a purpose. It's helping us, keeping us safe for many years to come, many generations to come. So we're really excited about that. Also, with that police station, they came to me. They said, folks, we'd like to have a gym. We'd like to get some gym equipment. Absolutely. Chief Ray Reyna, you folks came to my office. Correct me if I'm wrong. He said, city manager, can we get some gym equipment? We have some funding there. Yes, absolutely. Put the funding in there. So I thank these folks. These officers are out there working hard every single day. Unfortunately, crime is going to happen. Also, unfortunately, folks, there are some of these laws and these people that we've arrested. We put them in there, and I will leave it up to the police chief to speak to that because he's the expert, so I'm speaking on the things that he's taught me and educated me on, is we've arrested some of these folks, and unfortunately, some of these folks have just been released. Is that correct, Chief Ray Reyna? That has happened. So unfortunately, they get released, they come back out, and they do unfortunate things. But the individuals that are there, they're working hard every single day. They're solving these things. They're solving these crimes. They're out there being diligent. Those drones are out there working very hard for us. They're helping us capture people and get the bad folks in line. So we're really excited about that. Those are some other things that these folks are out there using technology we've mentioned on the ARPA funds to take care of things. Really excited about that. In conjunction of working with the police station, our Economic and Development Department, Stacy Souza, took on our housing division, and we were able to house 11 people. 11 people that we were able to have. We had unhoused people. We were able to get them housed. Folks, I can tell you that's not easy work. That's not the most simplest of jobs. It takes time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of energy. I have personally gone out there myself to talk to folks, to work with them, to try to engage with them. I grew up with some of these folks. I've heard their stories. And it's tough. It's a tough situation. Chief Ray Reyna, I'd like you to answer this question. On your very first day, Chief Ray Reyna, when you were a police chief on a Monday, what did you and I go and do that Monday? We went and took a walk. We walked, say that again? We walked the entire trail. We walked the entire trail on his first day. I said, Chief Ray Reyna, we're going to go for a walk. We're going to get to know each other. And when we say the trail, we walked all the way from Ward Road, Chief Ray Reyna, all the way to 2nd Street. Is that correct? That's right. And it started raining on us. And I looked at him, I said, Chief, you didn't bring an umbrella. Either did I. But that's all right. We kept walking. So it was a fun little time for us to be out there to work together because we're both out there, we're both involved, we're both engaged. Him and I just got in the car, we're out there, we're working on things, trying to address things. But once again, it's not easy. But I want to thank the folks on our housing division, Christy and Jennifer, who are out there working hard every single day. It's a tough job. It's not easy. There's folks have stories. They have families. You know, I grew up with some of them. I know some of them. A lot of these folks, believe it or not, some of you asked this question, you know, are they from here? Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of folks that are out there living in our streets that are actually from Los Banos. And some of us might know them. They're from here. And unfortunately, life circumstances hit them. And I think we all say our prayers every day and we give our gratitude and thanks to whomever that we choose that to be of we're blessed for what we do have. Because as we both know, life can change tomorrow. And so we're out there trying to work with those folks. They had over 1,500 plus client engagements last year in 2023, folks. They went and helped over 54 people get their ID, and we went and helped over 43 people get their birth certificate. Some of these folks, they just don't have that stuff. They lose it. And when they don't have those things, and we folks know this, is when they don't have those things, and pastors, you said on tomorrow you have a program to help out the immigration. They need help with resources. These things are complicated. They don't know how to navigate these things. They need some guidance. They need some somebody helping them get their dignity back, and that takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of effort. And folks, for us to understand, the state has spent billions of dollars, billions with the B, trying to solve this homeless issue. Billions, and they haven't. It's a tough problem. It really is. But we're working hard to try to take care of these things. The chief and I were in the car the other day, this week alone, and actually we were driving around 2 times this week, if I'm not mistaken, Chief Ray Reyna, going around discussing this, and it's a big conversation and topic. We actually have our public works team out there at least once or twice a week, going out there, cleaning up, helping clean up the debris and the trash out there so it just doesn't build and accumulate. So we're spending a lot of resources and city resources to help maintain. But once again, it's not a simple solution. It's a challenge. It's a problem, but we're trying to take care of it every single day. Those are some of the things that we're working on. On the community and economic development side, we've issued 1,681 business licenses and processes 1,287 building permits. That's a lot of work. Thank you to your team. Thank you to Justin. Thank you to Haley. Thank you to the team that's there working hard and rooting everybody else to get that stuff taken care of. That's a lot of work and a lot of things that they did. On the parks and recreation side, we planted over 400 trees. We cut over 700 trees. We also cut the trees on the canal trail. I totally forgot. Joe just came to my mind. Sorry for selling you short. We did even more work. So we've got more of that stuff done, once again, to keep us safe, to keep things nice and beautified. When you go drive around downtown, you go look at the areas where we cut trees, it looks beautiful. The trees are getting blooming. They're blossoming. They're, keeping it safe. It also helps on branches not getting in, in our waterways and our collection systems, clogging things up, as you well know, out there. So these are some progress that we made. On the fire department, Chief Paul Tawala, talk about progress we made over there. We painted your fire station that we got done. We also got a ladder truck. How long were we talking about when you came on board about us wanting a ladder truck? What was the conversation you heard? How many years? 3 or 4 years to get one, but how long was the department talking about saying we need a ladder truck, we need a ladder truck? At least 4 years, right? And I heard about even more, up to 5 and 10 plus years just talking about a ladder truck. And what did we do, Chief Paul Tawala? You took a little trip, you flew to Alabama, and he came back and he said, Josh, pretty good. Guess what, folks? We got the ladder truck. Pretty exciting. The other thing, what we just got delivered here, Chief Tawala, last week or 2 weeks ago, that they've been talking about for 5, 10 plus years of wanting, and guess what we got done this year? Tell us about it, Chief. Hey, look at that. We got our burn room. Those folks are all excited about it. They can go out there. They get their burn room to help keep us safe. Those folks got it installed. They brought the crane in. Thank you to the local business that helped us out with the burn room. Good, exciting stuff. We've been talking about it, but this year we decided to be about it. How about that? So that's some exciting stuff that we got done. We also added 3 new positions to the fire department. So very exciting things that we got going on. At the animal shelter, what was really exciting, we adopted out 52 cats, and we also adopted out 139 dogs for a total of 191 plus animals that got adopted out that last year. Very exciting stuff. You know, the more animals we can get out there, exactly. I hear the hoots out there. I agree with you. Good stuff for us to get that going. On the finance department, there's over 13,000 plus active accounts for utilities. That's a lot of work. 13,000 plus accounts where the finance team is working hard every single day. Those ladies are in the office helping out people, checking the meters, making sure the water bills are taken care of. I want to thank all those folks that are working hard on the staff. You got Rachel, you got Elva, you got Gabby. We have the folks in the back. We have Kelsey, we have Jason, we have Jennifer, we have Rosemarie, we have Vanessa, who did a good job tonight on the first presentation to us on helping us out to get all that stuff active. Folks, we're not always going to get it right. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to have hiccups here and there, but together we can become better together and work together with the partnerships here. And so thankful for all them for their hard work. We processed a lot of recruitments, a lot of PRA requests that are coming through from the HR team, from Sarah to Marlene, those folks that are going on there. Thank you for their hard work. Thank you for everything that they got done. On the water side, Jesse and his team. We got Jesse out there. We have Ernesto. We have Juan. We have Gabe out there. Excellent work. Appreciate all the hard work we do out there. On the water quality side, we have Randy. We have Fernandez. We have Brent. Those folks are working hard every single day. We had a new promotion out there, Tim Baptista Jr. Thank you, Tim, you and your team, and all the work you folks are doing on the collection side. You know, on our solid waste division, we have a new promotion out there, Mark Heggie, who's out there working hard every day, keeping our streets clean, sweeping up. We have folks that get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to sweep our roads. Very exciting stuff that they do out there. Our streets division led by old Tommy Flynn, working hard with Ozzy and Justin and the folks that are out there getting stuff done. We appreciate them. On our fleet division, my goodness, folks, when I came in here the very first time, I've got to tell folks this because a lot of folks don't know. They want to know what's going on. We have over 200 plus vehicles and pieces of equipment, and we only had one mechanic in the entire city. One mechanic. I'd go to the chief, and chief be like, my cars, I need to get them fixed. Chief Paul Twella, my cars, I've got to get them fixed. Let me go see what's going on. Oh, we have one mechanic. One mechanic, Chief Hughes. Can you believe it? One mechanic. You believe it? I couldn't. So now we have multiple mechanics out there because it's very crucial and critical, Chief Ray Rader, that your cars get back to you as soon as possible. Is that correct? So we can be out there solving crimes, getting stuff done. So we've added, the positions and departments, but once again, it takes time. We can't do it all at once. It takes money, it takes resources, it takes revenue, it takes tax dollars. So all those things do need to get done. We do need a commercial center. We do need an industrial center. We do need all those things, and it's going to take time and planning, and I recognize that, and I agree with those folks on those things. So those things are so important that we need to do to make sure we work on. So when we go and look at this stuff, the funding that we put towards this, complete neglect, animal shelter, been neglected, should have been changed out 20, 30 plus years ago. We're putting money towards that. The pickleball courts, it's the fastest growing sport out there in America. The fastest growing sport. It's all over the place. Everywhere you go, they're talking about it. I just went to a conference. Stacy Susan and I went to it last week, and before the conference, they had a little pickleball tournament. I didn't go and play, but they had it. Folks are all about it. And guess what? I'm really excited for us to make Colorado Ballpark, Ag Complex, a nice regional park to get it addressed. It's dilapidated. We got it in the plans, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe Heim, to get Ag Complex taken care of this year. Is that correct? There it is, another park that we're going to get completed. We did 7th Street Ballpark, over $800,000, Mayor, we allocated to that. It was a complete disaster. It looks great. People are having a great time. If you want something to do on, Tuesdays, Chief, and Mondays, I believe it is, on POW, where they go and play out there at 7th Street Ball Field, go take a peek. Go look at it. It looks really good. We're making progress. All this stuff done in a 1 year's period. It's really, really exciting that we're getting this done. The pickleball courts, you saw the designs. We presented it a few months back. It looks great. Excellent work on the things that we're doing. So we're really excited with all the progress and things that are taking place. It's going to take time, but we inherited deferred maintenance, neglect, and we've addressed a lot of it this year, and we're going to continue to address more of it, and there's more to come. So I thank you, Council, and as I speak to the community that's here today and the community that's watching online, this is what happened. This was the neglect, and once again, we're going to continue to work hard every single day to address it. But it can't be done overnight because a lot of this stuff just wasn't taken care of at all. I mean, there were situations where our public works folks didn't even have vehicles. Carlos, you're sitting there, one of the operations manager. We were scrambling to get these folks vehicles. They didn't even have them. Am I correct? Thank you. They were scrambling. They came to me. It's like we don't have vehicles, so we double folks up. Jesse, can you believe it? We had to double them up. And it's like, no, we got to get folks deployed to take care of this. But this is what we're working on. It's taking time. And once again, regardless of what happened before or not, we're working to address it. We're working to get it taken care of as responsibly and fiscally responsible as possible, and it takes time. But those are the things that we're doing. Also this week, of the things that we got done, I went and met with Congressman John Duarte. He was gracious enough with his time to come on down over here, and he gave $5 million to the exchange contractors for a water recharge project. Thank you, Congressman Duarte, for your time. I really appreciate it. As he was up there, it was a partnership with CCID, the exchange contractors. It was a really good thing to get water down into our aquifer to replenish it as we pull out. He was up there, and I said, Congressman, while you're here, please, can I have you please come to our city hall? I've got to show you our city hall, and I want to show you our annex building. He's like, okay, sure. I said, you're already here. Let me have you come on down. So he came on down, and I gave him a tour of our city hall, and I showed him our city hall, the things, the plans that we have for it, and then I walked him across the street to the annex building, and Chief Ray Rayner, you were with me there. Is that correct? He was there. So Chief Ray Rayner was gracious enough there with me, and I went and told him what we're planning to do with our annex building. We allocated $7 million. Thank you, Council, to make that our Development Services Center. That's going to host our Community and Economic Development Division, our Housing Division, our Engineering Division, and it's going to create space and more capacity because we're just out of space capacity because there just wasn't planning on this stuff. Congressman John Duarte was very kind and gracious with his time, showed him the project. He recognized it, and so we're going to continue to try to work with him to see what we can do to get that done. So those are some things that we got taken care of this last week. Stacy, Susan, and I, we went on over to Monterey. There was a convention there for Retailers Conference. Stacy and I, we just love to sell the city of Los Banos. It's our home. We're both from here. And we just go out there and we just hit the gates hard charging to let people know that, hey, Los Banos is the place to be. And I will tell you, there's a lot of businesses, a lot of people interested in coming to Los Banos. They're excited about it. They realize the potential. They realize the opportunity. Just unfortunately right now, Todd, is that there's just macroeconomic conditions that are taking place that just are creating a lot of uncertainty with interest rates that are taking place. They're waiting for the game to get leveled out. We'll see what our friend Jerome Powell decides to do, Brent Kuhn, on what he tries to do with the interest rates, but there's just a lot of uncertainty. They're like, hey, we need some stability to figure it out. But I will tell you, they're interested. They're excited. Right, Stacy? They're all fired up. They want to come here, and we're selling the dream as much as we can. So those are things that we're getting done and things that we're addressing, and that's some stuff that we got done. As you folks saw this week, talk about taking care of infrastructure. If you took any time to drive downtown, Blanche, I know your arm's getting tired. You're recording, but I'm going to keep going. The matter of the fact is, you go downtown, they're painting the crosswalks, they're painting the curbs, they're getting things cleaned up. We're working hard, Jesse. We're getting stuff done. All in a 1 year's period, we got some progress done. So I'm excited about the things that we're doing. It couldn't happen without your folks' hard work, everybody else's hard work, Chief's hard work and his team out there, all of his captains that are working hard in the prevention position. We got a program coming up where JP's worked hard for the car seat program that he's got coming on, which is great. We have this Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, Sound the Alarm event, where we're going to be doing some smoke detectors installs, still looking for some volunteers, if that's correct. So we got that going on. So his team's working hard. All the captains that are out there doing their hard works, from Captain Galicchio to Sawyer to Fernando. I can't forget him. He'll bust my chops if I didn't mention his name, and everybody else doing things. So a lot of hard work. The pastor came and told us about an event that he's got there. We've actually done, I think, a similar event. You can link up with Joe at the community center. I think we do it maybe twice a year, if I'm not mistaken. So it's exciting that we're providing these services to the community. So there's a lot of things that are taking place and going on. And once again, I thank you, Council, for your continued support. I thank you, community, for you being understanding of knowing the things that we're doing. And once again, inherited a lot of neglect, a lot of deferred things, but hey, we're going to move forward and try to address it as best as we can, as fiscally responsible as we can, to continue to make Los Banos the best place to be. Thank you, folks.
And I somehow have to follow that. All right. Item 12, report update, Merced County Association of Governments, MCAG, Peninsula Clean Energy, PCE, Measure V Committee, and the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District, as well as the Los Banos Downtown Property and Business Improvement. And I'll start with Councilmember Lewis, if you have anything on San Joaquin Valley.
Thank you. Yes, first of all, I'd like to indicate that we still have some $2 million available for people who have issues with asthma, any kind of respiratory problems, to be able to get a air filter for your home. The board wants to see people who are having trouble in this area have a clean room in their house where they can go and sit and not suffer so much from pollution in the air. And, you know, right now we're in our pollen season for hay fever. So the money will be distributed equally among counties by population. And $2 million is quite a bit to help out residents. So That money generally goes pretty quickly, that people apply for the Clean Room Residential Filter Initiative Program. There's also money available for clean air rooms for municipalities who would like to designate rooms in their public use buildings for everyone in the public to be able to go in when we have bad air days. But, you know, those rooms have to be designated at all times and open for the public's use. We had one other program, I think I had spoken about it, where the Air Board had dedicated $250,000 for alternative fireworks pilot program that we started. And there was such a overwhelming request for money that we put in another $600,000, bringing it up to 200 and, where's my numbers? We had $850,000 that we allocated for that program. The maximum incentive that any one event could apply for was $50,000, which would really bring a really nice 4th of July program. And just every county within the valley had applied for it with the exception of our county. Our county did not apply for any money for this program. Fresno Big Fair received $50,000. City of Hanford received $50,000. State of California 35th Agriculture District, which is the county fair in Stanislaus County, they received $50,000. And the Turlock Downtown Property Owners Association also received $50,000. And school districts applied anywhere from $2,500 up to that amount. But the entire $850,000 that was allocated was spent because we had such a outcry for people who wanted to have these drone shows rather than doing the pyrotechnic fireworks. So that was one of the things that I really supported, is to see the additional fundings being allocated for those fireworks shows. So right now that there are other things that are on the loom, but we just had our initial budget meetings. We still have to go through public hearings for our budget, and once those funds have been allocated, I can bring back some other reports about additional fundings that are available to the community. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. I'll give you an update on MCAG. One topic that came up at the last meeting, it's becoming a countywide concern, is illegal dumping. That's something that the county is just seeing everywhere. It's nonstop. One of the challenges that we're seeing now is that people are advertising on social media that they are haulers, and they'll charge you a very low amount of money and say that they're going to take the stuff to the dump for you, and they are not. They're dumping it on the side of the road all throughout our entire county. And so we're looking at, what our options are, working with the Sheriff's Department, obviously our local resources that we have here, and even concerned about people that are doing the illegal dumping are also doing it at encampments. So they're now taking their trash and taking it to encampments, and we're seeing that. So just something to be aware of. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So if you hire somebody to take your trash and they say they'll do it for $10, you probably should question that. That's all I'm going to say. Caltrans, we've been working with Caltrans. If you've been to Merced at any point and you've seen Highway 99, it has been an absolute mess for the last year between Merced and Atwater. They're getting close to closing that project, so I'm happy about that. PCE, big news with PCE is, yes, PG&E rates are going up, and if you are a PCE customer, your rates will not. And so I want to repeat that. If you are a Peninsula Clean Energy customer, your electric rates will not be going up, while everyone with PG&E will. And I noticed that there's some misinformation on social media. People are saying, hey, opt out of PCE, your bill will be cheaper. Well, you're wrong. And I'll just flat out tell you you're wrong. Do the math. It is attached to your PG&E bill because that's how PG&E does the paperwork and the transmission. So some people are kind of misreading that your PG&E bill, that the Peninsula Clean Energy fee is an added fee. It is not an added fee. It is the calculation of the kilowatts measured to your usage is how it works. Now, it is totally separate than your gas bill. And so sometimes when people see, hey, I opted out and my bill went down, that's probably because your gas usage went down or something to do with the gas side of it. And we're seeing more of that. Peninsula Clean Energy is also doing we just voted and passed a customer rate study, which is going to be a hybrid model. So I'm super happy about that. Their formula for a while was whatever PG&E charged. Peninsula Clean Energy charges 5% less. I was not a fan of that. My opinion was, hey, what does it actually cost you to produce this power? And that's what we should be charging, the people, the customers, a much more fair ratio. And I'm happy to say that that's the model that they're going to switch to. So they just initiated to do the work on that to see what that rate study is. So my guess is that's going to further separate Peninsula Clean Energy customers from PG&E customers. So I'm really hopeful about that. Also, Peninsula Clean Energy has a ton of programs, just like Councilmember Lewis was talking about with the Valley Air Pollution Control. There are so many programs that PCE customers can apply for. Electrification of your house, emergency hot water heaters, windows. There's a lot of HVAC systems. Yeah, there's a ton of options and resources. We just want the public to know. So that's all I have for those two. Do you have anything for PBIT? Okay, all right. We'll move on to item 13, City Council Members Report. We'll start with Councilmember Lewis.
Thank you very much. This past Saturday, we had our third annual Easter egg hunt at the Cardoza Soccer Park. Each year that event grows and grows, and the children have such a wonderful time out there. I kind of akin them like locusts. I was telling our director, they come in a rush, and as they move in on all three sides, those fields are cleaned out. There's absolutely nothing left down there. So it's like locusts coming in and cleaning out a farm field. But they had a wonderful time, and at the end, staff provided the soap suds for them to just go out there and get cleaned up and have a great time. So thank you for putting on that event for us. It's just a wonderful thing for our community, well attended, and a lot of fun for the children. Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, thank you, staff, for a great meeting tonight, great presentation. Thank you, Ms. Finance Director. Great job for your first time. Like Mayor Paul said, it's going to be kind of hard to follow what the city manager just did, but the first couple things I want to point out, because it was actually brought up again tonight, and that how he was saying that, and he was specifically directing it towards me. He just didn't say my name. I have a business license right here. I've been in business here since 2020. This business license is from 8/1/2022 to 7/31/2023. So I don't know where he got his information or how he got his information, but during that time, this business license was still current, and I was moving into a new location downtown, which that license says when that one took effect. I could still be selling over at this other restaurant at the same time because I still had a business license. So I wanted to clarify that. Also, the ARPA, which I was going to, I didn't get the chance, but before Josh was hired here, the city manager then, we had a different finance director here, Miss Sonia, and we went together, and she come up with the RAD program. And during that RAD program, a different council was up here on board, and everybody during that council actually approved of the ARPA for the small business that was initially went for RAD for $1 million. So, I totally understand, people's got the right to come up here, but as I said before, I'm not sure and actually, nobody's actually approached me. I'm probably the easiest person to get a hold of because I'm sitting at my restaurant most of the time. I've had these copies of this business license every day at my restaurant. Nobody's come and asked me questions. Well, I get picked on and I get special privilege, or saying that I get special privilege just because I sit up here. I'm just a regular old person, business person that has a business downtown. I'm just an ordinary guy. I did the right steps. I followed the procedures, and I followed the guidelines on the application. Unfortunately, I did have a copy of the guidelines up here. And, you know, it's just frustrating to me that since I do get set up here, I've been singled out, that I get special privilege from the police department to the ARPA, to everything. And, you know, it's just really gotten really kind of frustrating because I don't get the special treatment. So, but I didn't want to, I did want to just mention a little bit of all that. Now, I want to go to, I see a lot of stuff going on social media. Our officers are doing a hell of a job. You know, with the officers that we have and more officers on the streets than what we've had in the past few years. I can't say thank you to our chief, you know, in the past from doing the job that they're doing. I see it on Facebook. You know, you see it on social media. You know, hey, you know, code enforcement's tagging these cars. Hey, you know, watch going down Cordova or what I Street. They're going to stop. You know, there's officers. So I see these officers. I see this on. That means our officers are out there doing their job. So, but now, like he said in the past, we can't be everywhere. You know, look at the rest of the United States. It's with all the rest of our officers. You know, they have a hard job, but they're not going to sit at your doorstep and watch and just say, okay, wait on the crime to happen. You know, but what it is, like I said earlier, it's when that call comes in. It's our response time. And from what I see, our response time, I guess we had a shooting yesterday close to McDonald's. We had a heck of a response time, you know, in that area. So our officers are working hard every day. Our fire department, you know, they work, I see them out on the road 5-6 times a day. You know, they're doing a heck of a job. And that's what, when I ran for council, that's what I looked for. It was the infrastructure of our city, which when I got here, our infrastructure was like, I didn't know a lot of this until I actually started seeing things, you know, my first year. But we've come a long way this last year on getting a lot of our infrastructure taken care of. Our parks, you've seen a lot of them on that video. A lot of those parks up there, 3 of them were in my district, and they're all redone. I think we had a comment last meeting that my parks needed a lot of work done. Well, all my parks pretty much all been renovated already. So a lot of things are getting done. I mean, we got a dog park since I've been here, you know, in my district. So we're just going to keep pushing. You know, we do watch, you know, we hear it every day. Well, we watch our spending. After everything that we've done this last year, we're still up a certain percentage from what in our investment and how much money we've actually made and not lost during all this spending that we've done. And I think I'm correct, right, Mr. Coon? Yeah. So we just got to keep going forward with what we're doing. And as the year goes on, everything's going to start, as we start repairing all this stuff that's been neglected, well, guess what? The city's going to start seeing the little ease each year on the maintenance of everything. So that's all I didn't want to keep rambling on a lot, but, you know, it's coming down to where, you know, things are being said out in social media. And I mean, come see me. I got everything right here. If I was going to give him a copy if he wanted to stay overnight, stay here. I mean, I got a couple copies. If he wanted to proof. I mean, I don't know if anybody can see it. My business license on the other one has been circled around in social media. Well, here's the one that they really need to circle around, so push it around. But, you know, that's all I have to say, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Begonia.
Yeah, as a council member, I am just a citizen like everyone else. Don't look for any pats on the backs or wow, you did awesome. You're doing awesome. That all goes to all the city workers, every single one of them. And Josh named off, I don't know, it seems like just about every single one of them. They're the ones doing all the fantastic things for this city. So thank you very much for all you guys do for us. We're going, Josh, I don't know, I think it's said about every word in the English dictionary, but you know, we that's what we're allowing our city manager to do. When people come up here and tell us, you know, it's on us, what we're allowing our city manager to do, well, that's it. That was 1 year. So we're looking forward to next year and hopefully a few more years after that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Jones.
Oh, yes, Mayor. Yeah, I mean, in the last 12 months, we've gotten so much done, and it's like staff has been supercharged since Josh has been back here, and so I'm really appreciative of that. My stress level has gone down to next to nothing when it comes to city business. Before, when he was gone, it was stressful. It just seemed like we were at a standstill. Nothing was getting done. It was just talking about random things that just didn't really quite matter. We were not addressing any of our real needs, and so I really appreciate all the hard work that staff's done. Our city manager for his countless hours, probably roughly 80 hours a week. It seems like weekends he's here, nights he's here, paid holidays he's here, and it's paid off. I mean, the amount of work that we've gotten done is probably what it would take the average city manager 5+ years to try to do, because they clock out right at 5 o'clock. You don't hear from them on the weekend. Holidays, forget about it. They're not going to pick up their phone. And that's been the status quo. And that's what everybody calls experience, right? Experience to be a bureaucrat, to be a government employee is to basically just milk it. Well, you see what happens when you get a businessman in here. You get things done. And that's exactly what's been done. I do want to talk about some comments made regarding ARPA money and Councilmember Ken Lambert. And one of the comments that Graciano Rubio has mentioned is that it's a conflict of interest for a council member to be a recipient of the small business grant when he's a small business owner, a valid business owner in the city of Los Banos during the time frame met the qualifications. The person judging these applications is probably the most neutral person in this city that graded them, selected, judged them, underwrit them, which is Brent Kuhn, which is not from Los Banos. He doesn't know one person to the next. So when he's seeing names on applications, he's just judging them for what they are on face value. But saying Councilmember Ken Lambert should not be entitled to the same programs as what we vote on would be like, okay, well, we vote on roads maintenance and repaving roads, so I shouldn't be driving on these roads because I voted for them. Let's take it a little bit further. My house catches on fire. I should not call the fire department because I vote for the annual budget for it. Would that be a conflict of interest too? Or only on select programs? So that gets a little confusing. Well, one thing I haven't heard from Graciano Rubio is the amount of money that his organization received from the ARPA money, $15,000. And supposedly it was because of loss in rent or covering rent during that time. During that time that we had COVID, we had a city manager going around shutting down businesses, sending code enforcement out there, shutting them down, threatening them citations if they did not close their business. Graciano Rubio and his wife, Jennifer, they reached out to me. They actually picked up the phone and called. They didn't come to a public forum or wrote a letter in. We were actually closed publicly. You can only write a letter in. They didn't do that. They actually picked up the phone and called me and said, hey, what can we do? We don't like this. And I said, look, I don't condone this. This was one of my biggest gripes about that city manager at that time was he just arbitrarily started closing down businesses without the thought of the repercussions that was going to cause, the cost of these businesses that they had to incur for that time. And a lot of them could not afford that shutdown. During that time, whether or not Graciano or CrossFit Valley View actually closed their doors during that time is another story. But because it was ordered, I believe that they got that $15,000. I think he's upset because he didn't get the full $25,000. And that's kind of like going to the bank and demanding $1 million loan, but only qualifying for $600, and then bashing the bank for not qualifying you for the full amount. I just think that's childish. So he also made a comment that I threatened another business in town. It was actually Strike Fitness. I didn't threaten a business. I set clear boundaries not to contact me for any help or assistance again, because in the past I've sponsored that business. I have helped them with code enforcement needs. I pushed them to apply for the small business grant, and yet they had the audacity to come in here and belittle my staff without even talking to me first about their issues or their gripes. And so I really have no respect for that business, for their actions, what they did. And so I can keep going on and on. We had a developer that keeps coming in, kind of feels a lot like smoke and mirrors. Anyways, we'll leave that one be for another day. But overall, as you can tell, we got a lot of stuff going on, and what's interesting is you won't find any of that in the newspaper. And I'm wondering if this newspaper has turned more into a tabloid than an actual real newspaper, because it's not transparent, it's not fair, it seems very one-sided, almost like a hit piece. They're being very strategic with what they put out there, and it's to steer the people that don't think for themselves in a certain direction. And clearly, as tonight, as you guys seen, what you've seen up there on the screen was just a small part of what's been done in the last 12 months. So anyways, for anybody out there that's not sure what's going on in the community, you're more than welcome to reach out to us. My phone's always on. I know other council members, their phone's always on. The mayor's always accessible. So get the information from the horse's mouth directly. That's all. So thank you.
All right. Gotta follow that up now. All right. So I'll go last. So I did attend the Easter egg hunt with Councilmember Lewis. That was amazing. I heard something 25,000 pieces of candy. Is that?
23,000 eggs, about 30,000.
Man, you made me look bad. Just saying. When I hide with my kids, it's like, not close to those numbers. No, it was a great event. We had a great time. The kids, the family out there, it was awesome. So, and really, I continue to have conversations with many of our citizens who commute, and that was the overwhelming thing that I got from them is we want to stay home, enjoy time with our families, and attend a community event. So, thank you for that. I recently attended the town hall meeting with Congressman Duarte. I want to thank the VFW and the American Legion for hosting that. That was outstanding. And again, it gives people the opportunity to meet your elected officials, not at the local level, but at the federal level. He's one of 535 Congress members. So it was a great discussion. So, and I want to, thank Congressman Duarte for doing that. I recently participated in a master's study program. I was interviewed by students from USC. This last week. It was a great experience for me to discuss some things with them and kind of learn about the position of mayor and some of the topics going on in Los Banos. So that was really cool to be a part of that. I recently did an interview with the West Side Express. Believe it or not, I did. I've actually done quite a few. I don't know if they get published or not, but I just did another one, and so I hope it gets published. As far as other things, I just signed a letter of support today for Grasslands Water District for Rick Ortega, working with him to do a water project and hopefully get some further support from Congressman Duarte's office. So they're looking for that. So I signed that letter today. If you guys have any resources, we heard about the immigration and other resources available, please send them to me, share them with me, email me, text me, whatever, because I would love to share that stuff on social media. The benefit of resources is when the people need them, they got to know about them. And so any of that stuff, please share it with me. I'm happy to share it and share it with kind of any platforms that I can do that on in our community. As far as, some of the public comments that come up, I knew what I was getting into when I signed up for this job. It's okay. I'm not wearing a bulletproof vest. I did that for a long time. We can handle creative discussions. And again, I'm not going to make everybody happy. That's not my job, but my job is to listen. And so to listen and make informed decisions so that I can vote better on projects. One thing I will say, and I just sent an email right now, please, and I'm sure somebody will jump at the chance to do a public record request. I just emailed Mr. Rubio and asked him for an in-person meeting. So again, it's on TV. There it is. We'll see if he responds or not. But again, I would love to solve whatever issue it is, but I can't do it from that podium. We got to do it in person, or we got to at least have a productive meeting. Also, the same thing with Mr. Hostetler. I've known Greg for a while. I consider him a friend. I like Greg. If there are issues, again, we can pick up the phone. We can have a discussion, and I'm happy to do that. But what I will say in this position is I'm not going to say yes to everything. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to get things done for the benefit of 40,000+ people. So again, sometimes when some people are used to that expectation of kind of getting things and kind of having that clear path, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to benefit 40,000+ people. So whatever that takes. But again, I know Mr. Hostetler made some comments about he offered to build onto Pioneer Road and move the airport and build a fire station? Well, he didn't ask me. Because I'd have said yes to all three right now. I'm going to Washington, D.C. next month to try to petition for federal funding to help move our airport. So if that offer still stands, please, you didn't ask me tomorrow. I'll say yes. Other things that have going on, let's see. I did walk the rail trail today. Probably didn't walk as far as you guys did, but I was out there walking the rail trail. And again, I want to put eyes on things. And I know it's very frustrating. I did have very optimistic ideas coming into this office. But one thing I'm definitely learning is this. When the issue is a statewide level problem and you're expecting it to be solved on a local level, you're not going to get the results you want. It's much bigger than that. The other issue is, and I've seen it just in my law enforcement career, you can only help those that want to be helped. Everyone else is not going to go with the program. And again, these are people, right? We can't control people, but we can offer them resources and get them what they need, but it's up to them to accept those. And again, if we had kind of more support, maybe at a state and federal level, we could provide consequences for those individuals that don't seek out those resources. But that's where we're at. We're not giving up. I'm still moving forward on that. Some comments about Measure H were made tonight, and I know there's some information, but I'm going to shock the presses, folks. I was not, and I would not have ran for office again if Measure H passed. I'm just going to tell you that flat out. I don't have an interest to be a mayor for 4 more years in this city. I'm not a career politician. I'm a father, and I got 3 kids, and I love my family, and I appreciate all the work that I can do while I'm here. But I saw the signs go up about Measure H, and I'll be honest, I kind of laughed because somebody spent a lot of money on those signs, and had it passed, I wouldn't even consider running for office. And so probably would have made things easier for the person who came up here and wants a seat. But yeah, anyway. Also, last thing, I just want to send thoughts and prayers out to Daniel Freeman. He's one of our fire captains. Daniel recently, he's been having some health issues, a battle with cancer. And so I just want to lend my support to Daniel. And then lastly, we recently lost one of our own, Tim Marison. So longtime fire chief, assistant fire chief, 3 decades serving this city. And so my thoughts and prayers go out to Tim and his family, so and to all the Los Banos family. So with that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn. Councilmember Jones?
So moved.
Councilmember Lambert?
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned 8:40.